Breaking. President Trump announces he will designate Antifa as a major terrorist organization. Antifa is short for anti-fascist. It is not a single, centralized group, but rather a loosely connected movement or network of activists who oppose fascism, white supremacy, and far-right ideologies. Members or sympathizers often show up at protests and demonstrations, sometimes dressed in black, a tactic called black bloc. Their methods range from peaceful protest to more aggressive direct action, including property damage or physical confrontations with groups they see as extremist or authoritarian. Why Trump called them terrorists? Former President Donald Trump, during his time in office, frequently described Antifa as violent and dangerous. He argued that Antifa was responsible for riots, vandalism, and violent clashes, especially during protests linked to racial justice movements like those following George Floyd's death in 2020. By calling them a terrorist organization, Trump wanted to classify them as a national security threat. Important detail: U.S. law does not actually provide a framework to designate a domestic group as a terrorist organization in the same way it can with foreign organizations. The government can designate foreign groups, like Al-Qaeda or ISIS, as terrorist organizations, but not purely domestic movements. So, while Trump's statement was politically forceful, it was not legally enforceable in the same way as designations against foreign terror groups. In short, Antifa is a loose anti-fascist activist network. Trump and his supporters see them as violent agitators and wanted to label them terrorists, while critics argue they are not an organized terror group, but a decentralized movement opposing far-right extremism. 1. Antifa is not an organization. Antifa doesn't have leaders, headquarters, membership lists, or a formal structure. It's more of a loosely connected movement, or a set of tactics used by different activist groups. Critics argue you cannot classify a non-organization as an organization under terrorism laws. 2. Legal limitations. U.S. law allows the government to designate foreign groups as terrorist organizations, but there's no legal authority to label a group this way. That means Trump's announcement was more of a political statement than an actionable policy. 3. Civil liberties concerns. Some feared that labeling Antifa as terrorists could be used to crack down on political dissent in general. Critics worried it could open the door to targeting left-wing activists, protesters, or even ordinary citizens who oppose government policies. 4. Selective focus. Opponents noted that right-wing extremist groups, like white supremacists and militias, have been responsible for more fatal domestic terror incidents in